Real Life Trading Pre-Market Day Trading Show. All right, what's up, traders from around the world and on the YouTubes? Robert Falco, good morning. Hope you had a great day yesterday. Deciphering all that Fed action and fake news coming out of Eastern Europe. What's up, Ron? All right, so just a quick little recap. Well, actually, we'll do the 5-minute chart. So yesterday there was some news right around here. It was like, oh, there's peace talks. They got an agreement, and then it ended up being no, they don't have an agreement. Came back down, chopped around, pretty much all the way until the Fed. We stayed within like this opening hour or so. Fed minutes came out. They raised the rates. I don't know who was surprised by that. I was a little surprised to see that they said, like, yeah, we're all on board with 7 rate hikes. Dropped on that. Powell started talking, and Powell rallied the market. So I think what Powell provided for everybody was some certainty. His last press conference was absolutely dog shit, and that's why we ended up selling off for 2 months. But because it was complete uncertainty that he provided, but he came in this time, provided certainty, even with his testimonies in front of the Senate and Congress. I mean, he said before Ukraine, all the meetings were live. So they were set to raise at every single meeting, is basically what he said. I don't know if a lot of people just didn't hear that, when he spoke to the Congress and Senate, or what the deal was. But he said that yesterday. He was pretty clear. He pretty much said, hey, we screwed up. We printed too much money. We didn't raise rates fast enough. And we're going to try to catch up without completely, trashing the economy. So I think it was good. I've been saying for like 2 months, I thought we go down all the way until the rate increase. We rally on the rate increase because it's like a little bit of a relief, like 25 basis points. What's that going to do? Pretty much nothing, but at least it shows they're moving in the right direction, and they're not completely brain dead and saying like inflation's transitory, which we all know that it's not, and it's out of control. So they also said they were going to start running off the balance sheet. These are all good things. We can't live on free money and money printer go burr forever. It was nice while it lasted, but yeah, we see where that got us. So I think it's actually good. Also, by him saying, hey, every meeting is live, he's saying expect rate increases at every single meeting. And then if they don't do one, that'll be looked at as, hey, they're being data dependent or whatever, should some reports come in a little bit lighter than the expectation. But I still think we're going to be in an inflationary environment. He said it's not going to go away as fast as they thought. So, yeah. We rallied all day long after he spoke. So I do think I'm leaning more towards this is a temporary bottom for the market. I don't know that it's the bottom for the whole year. I think we could rally a little bit, retest, maybe rally through April a bit. I don't think we're not going to. This, at least my opinion. And, what am I? I'm just a professional guesser, I guess. We're not just going to do this back to all-time highs. It would be nice if the market moved in straight lines, but it usually doesn't. And I also don't think we're just going to do that either. So I do think that we trade a little bit higher, maybe throw in a couple inside days, trade up into 44, 445 or so, maybe even 450. Roll back down, kind of bounce, sell in May, go away. I think the summer is going to be miserably sideways and choppy, and pretty terrible to trade. And then I think we're going to dip in September into October, and then we're going to rally in the fourth quarter. If we make a new high this year, I think it happens in the fourth quarter. I don't see us making a new high before that. Could we make a new low? We definitely could. But we did get what, like a 22% pullback on the Qs. This is not 2008. There's companies with real earnings. This is only the tech bubble, 2000, and like certain stocks. And we have had I know that CNBC and every news outlet was saying that the bear market just started over here. We've been in a rolling bear market for months. And if you were in SPACs and losing money, hopes and dreams, pie in the sky tech stocks, I mean, those have been going down for literally over a year. So, yeah, that's kind of my take on the Fed and just overall stuff. I've seen way too many like ridiculous, like we're going into the 200s on SPY. That's anything is possible. Don't get me wrong, but I don't see that happening. Would I have liked us to retest this 400 before the Fed meeting? Yes, but yeah, he gave us some certainty, and I think we could start to rally a little bit, chop around. Like I said, pull back through the summer. Summer's going to be miserable, and we'll go from there. But geopolitical, there's always some risk there. So that's the SPY. Here's the Qs. The Qs we did make a new low a couple days ago. And would I have liked it a little bit lower? Sure, but is what it is. That was still a 22% pullback, almost 23. AMD held a nice little area. That was a great gap yesterday. AMD and Nvidia, there were definitely some trades on these yesterday. Now, these were retest gaps. Nvidia retested nicely. AMD had a nice little like a quicker double bottom. If you go into like a 2 minute or so, I played this one on AMD. Tesla yesterday, this is pretty interesting. So it rallied, threw in a pennant, broke down, broke the low. I don't know who shorted here. I mean, please watch like the beginner course. Don't short the low day break after it's already sold off a bunch. It was kind of dumb. But then it rallied the rest of the day. There's Apple, looks very similar. Delta, very similar. And then Roblox, had a really good rally, broke down, and then ended up finishing out pretty decent. Don't know if this is the low on like stuff like Roblox, etc. The downtrend is very, very aggressive. The other thing to remember is quad witching is tomorrow. So end of the quarter, end of the month, option expiration. You have a ton of people who don't know how to hedge properly, and they hedge them. They bought puts like through March, probably like the wrong time. Like if you're buying March puts like over here, or maybe over here, and you're selling them in here somewhere or selling them here, that's fine. But if you're holding for like this huge, drop into March, like I think a lot of people are going to get hosed, or like maybe they're buying puts even on this retrace, but only buying March, just not buying enough time. A lot of those are going to expire worthless, and then we'll see what happens after quad witching as far as where the market goes and all the options stuff. But if you're hedging anything, hopefully you've been hedging April. I do have a couple puts on the Qs out towards April, just in case. Like I said, I'm leaning a little bit more towards like, hey, we got a temporary bottom. And Angelus's plays for today. I think oil and energy, is bouncing kind of nice. We'll see if it has any follow through. Banks, I think, buy on pullbacks. I think financials got some potential double bottoms in there. We could just have an inside day though. Yesterday was pretty big. I would actually like an inside day, kind of like over here, but maybe a little smaller. Something like this over the next couple days. So some consolidation, then a little pop up into here, then roll down, and then we'll see if we rally. For those of you that went long on China, over here, you got a little bit of a rip to sell. So China, the the regulators allegedly have said that, oh, we're going to stop our aggressive regulation. I still don't want to be in any of these things. But if you did buy, the exact bottom, you got a little bit of a pop. Otherwise, you're just right back to where you were like last week on the China names. JD probably looks a little bit better. But yeah, these things are they're still in very, very horrible downtrends. If you want to look at some companies, like Shopify on these like shorter time frame double bottoms of like a week or so, I get it. I would just definitely use stops personally. Like Square did make some higher lows. Like that's kind of nice. PayPal is down massive, maybe double bottoming, but I think it's going to consolidate all the way. It's gotten so beat up, probably consolidate all the way till next earnings on that one. Otherwise, I wouldn't touch any of these type of stocks like the AFRMs, the SoFis, like all these things that lose money. I don't think these things are really going to come back all that well. McDonald's, if you bought down in here, there's some bull put spread money. Almost sold the bull put spread. There wasn't quite enough for me to get filled, but that was a really nice bounce. I know some folks are looking at Starbucks. I would rather play Bros personally than Starbucks, but teach their own. There's some people looking at those. Yeah, I kind of like Square. I bought back all my put sells, except for, so I even bought the Tesla one back. I still have two, I think. I have Apple, and I have Apple 135 for April, and I have one $100 put sell left for Square for this Friday. I had some 80s. I bought those back. And then I had a 200 100s, and I bought back one of them, and then I have the 101 left. Bros for long term. I like Bros. I think they're growing. Bros has a lot of ability to grow, because it's like a micro cap. It's like 2 billion, I think. 1.5. So this could go to 10 billion easier than like Starbucks goes from, I don't know, is it easier for Bros to go from 2 billion to 10 billion, or Starbucks to go from 100 billion to 500 billion? That's my thing. I think it's a little easier for Bros to go from 2 to 10 than Starbucks 100 to 500. So Haley wants to look at CCL. Cruise lines. Yeah. Yeah. It looks okay. It bounced, but I don't know. Not really a huge fan of these things. I don't like cruises, so maybe that's why. But yeah, the travel stocks, I don't know. They still have all the pressure from fuel prices, etc. Got earnings coming up. Looks like an inside day gap. So anything. Till Death says, watch for the market to puke today. Maybe, but I think we kind of just have some inside day action until options expiration tomorrow. I don't think there's going to be a huge day today, unless some crazy news comes out. Team is one of those ones that does like some of these other stocks. They've had some huge pullbacks. It looks like some type of double bottom. But if I was playing this, I would use a stop. And then, whatever your risk is. If you want to risk 100, 200, 500, 1,000, you have a defined risk. And you know where your out needs to be at the low of this move. And if it continues, lower, you take an L and you move on. Nothing wrong with taking an L as long as it doesn't turn into a big fat L and like blow up your account. Yeah, Oxy. I like the energy stocks today. I like the energy stocks. Yeah. Yesterday was a huge day, so I think we could consolidate a little bit. Plus, we got quad witching coming up, so watch for pin pressure, etc. Like just out of curiosity, let me go take a look at like SPY options for tomorrow. Where's the biggest SPY? The 18th. Take a look at volume and open interest. Yeah, well, we're gonna be way below the big spot on SPY 440, so I would definitely say we close below that. 430 has a big chunk, and then puts. Where do people buy the most puts? Oh man, 420, 415, 410. Yeah, every 5 strikes. Yeah, I think all those are gonna expire worthless. So 430, it kind of looks like if I'm just 430 is a big level. 430 is going to be a big level tomorrow, depending on where we're at. So if you made some money yesterday, I think that today could be a good day to just kind of relax, take it slow. I had a pretty solid day yesterday. I closed again almost all my put sales, so that was some really nice capture. I had the AMD trade, which wasn't a huge win, and then Microsoft. I thought Microsoft was a good gap, so I was watching this one. This was one of our 10 EMA plays. So I ended up getting in right here. I get in right here. I got a little lucky with like the news, that fake news about the peace talks came in, and I literally exited at I think 65, right in front of that pre-market. So that was kind of nice. So between that and then AMD and all the put sales, it was a pretty solid day. A little over 2R for me. So I'm not in a huge rush. Like, oh, I got to make tons of R today. I think it's going to be a lot of inside day action, which I'm not a huge fan of for trading. Amazon looks nice. I do like this on. I do like this move on Amazon. Well, undercut of 2,700 rally. They do have the split announcement, although it's not till like June, so that's going to take a while. I mean, heck, we're all the way halfway through March, so maybe not as it's not as far away as it originally appeared. Would you want to elaborate on your Microsoft reasoning? So Microsoft, look where it opened. So number one, Microsoft had some consolidation already. I wanted something that was gapping up that had already consolidated a bit. And it was gapping above this candle, and this candle, like right in here. At least the bodies of the candles, gapping above all of these. It was a retest gap. Like there was a lot of big gaps yesterday. So it was a retest gap. I waited for it to trade it higher. It did retest. It consolidated, and then we had that nice VWAP was also right in here. So these little indecision candles right on VWAP are cool too. It also did qualify for a 10 EMA. Intraday price action. That was just an S curve. That's it. So try to get some consolidation right in the middle. Here's your S curve. Play for a move up. And that's it. Now, did I think it would happen in like 2 candles? I mean, not really. But it did. And that's right when SPY spiked. And when I saw SPY spike, actually, it spiked up into 434. It held, it like hung there for a couple seconds. Then all of a sudden you got that big upper wick, and then we started pulling back a little bit. I was like, yeah, this is definitely the good wick and good. I mean, yeah, that anything can happen, but I had my stop in, and the worst thing that can happen is I lose an R. I definitely thought bullish was the way. I mean, AMD was also pretty nice right in here. Nvidia was a nice one. It's even on like a 3 minute. I like this candle, right? You had to at least be looking bullish. I like this candle right there. It's like a 4 candle Morningstar reversal pattern. But it was Nvidia was actually a really nice gap too here. So Nvidia yesterday gapped above all of this stuff. It already consolidated. So yeah, there's a lot of. I think you had to be looking bullish. Can you explain where it's best to buy a put or call on SPY or the Qs? So like up in here, this area, like was a really good spot to buy a put. I was not buying any puts yesterday. If you want to buy a put on SPY, and you think we're gonna roll back down, or the Qs, I would buy a little bit higher, like the Qs somewhere up in this 348, and the SPY maybe like 440 to 445 if you're trying to hedge. If you do want to buy calls, if we get 2 days of consolidation, you could consider buying there to see if we get the pop. That's probably what I would do, or what I would look for. Let's see, anything else moving like crazy today? Yeah, energy. Good old energy. FSFCX. Cute little gap on FCX. I'll watch that one. New cores gapping down. Interesting. Not American Airlines. Alcoa is kind of an interesting gap. Pfizer also looks pretty cute. I like that little candle on Pfizer. Yeah, I like Pfizer better than Moderna. Pfizer, someone messaged me. Does Pfizer remind you of the gold gap? A little bit. Gold, was not as the downtrend was not as steep, and it took a lot longer, so the consolidation was better, but kind of similar. Yeah, Facebook. Again, this just hadn't really, like, this is still in a crazy downtrend. That's why I wasn't really watching that one yesterday. And then Square, like, wasn't really a great gap. It did have some follow through. Here's coin, so it did make a new low, but it did bounce. I don't think we're at the point where it's like indiscriminate buying is recommended. But I'm just a dude on the internet. I would want to see a capitulatory event, like huge selling, before you could just indiscriminately buy. I think you can buy, but you have to buy some smaller stuff. So yeah, these would probably be the four that I would be watching. If I didn't have these that we were watching every day, I would probably not even have any of them on my list. So yeah, I wouldn't be watching any of these if they weren't just on our list every day. Oh yeah, and if you guys are on host and panelists in Zoom, switch it over to everyone if you don't mind. Tana thinks I'm talking to myself. Yeah, on these pullbacks, hopefully you've been if you wanted them. I'm not recommending it, but if you wanted them, hopefully you've been buying in on these pullbacks. Because I think I checked this morning and they haven't increased my savings account rate, but the rate of my credit cards or lines of credit have already gone up. They didn't waste any time raising the rates on those, but the savings account still pays 0. That's how they roll. That's an immediate boost to banks' bottom lines. Here's your 10-year Treasury. There's your 30-year. What's the, let's see, 10s, US 10-year minus US 02Y. 10s minus 2s. The yield curve is a little scary, although the Fed can just dump longer debt onto the market. ARCs, yeah, I still wouldn't buy ARC. I don't have any shorts on it or anything yet. I would look to short it probably back up between 70 to maybe even 78 if it does get a bounce. Yeah, I'd still go short on this. I wouldn't be buying these things. A lot of these companies don't have real earnings, etc. Like Teladoc and Fastly, Roku. I told my Best Buy story. Went to Best Buy. I saw one little tiny stand with Roku stuff on it. Other than that, didn't notice anything about all the TVs that were being sold. I don't remember seeing Roku all over them. Or no, the salesperson wasn't like, oh man, this has Roku. Roku was like not even an afterthought. So, yeah, this is not worth buying. I kind of like this double bottom on shop, but again, play it with a stop. I'm gonna play that. Warren and Jenny 165. I like Home Depot too. Made a higher low right here. Looks like a double bottom. What strategy would you go long above there with a stop down there? What kind of weird madness strategy would that be? That would be our 10 EMA. Bear candle closing above the 10. It already looks like a double bottom. Let me just double check. Yeah, 200's way up there, so that looks kind of good. Actually, I'm gonna throw that on there. I'll throw that on the list. Keep an eye on it. TTD. I'd still wait on this thing. I'd still wait on that one. And then, yeah, all of these, I don't really think I'd be looking at any of them today. All inside day gaps. So there's going to be a lot of waiting on those. Yeah, this would be what I would be watching. Yeah, a wild card ticker would be nice. That doesn't mean that, you guys can't trade some of these though. I'll be watching. Oxy has been fairly good with the 10 EMA. All right, YouTube, thanks for hanging out. Check us out at reallifetrading.com. We do have mentor groups listed for the month of April. We got Hot Hand DJ Dan himself, RT3, Yates, and Matt DeLong up for grabs. See y'all later.